Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bitcoin Show. We're going to get started right away, and we're going to open up the charts right here and take a look at the latest stories in the world of Bitcoin. It says here, Peter Schiff's understanding of money is flawed, says his pro-Bitcoin son. So his son is into Bitcoin. Peter, he's underestimating Peter. Peter, understanding of money is not flawed. He understands money like you wouldn't believe. He just Bitcoin. He can't get his head around it for some reason. But he understands money. Don't underestimate Peter understanding money. And one of the sharpest tacks out there is for understanding what's happening with the dollar and everything else. So anyway, in other things here, we see Bitcoin sets an all new time high, spiking at over $35,000. Uh, Now, one of the things I'm just going to tell you guys one of the things that could shut down Bitcoin. Or no, well, it wouldn't really shut it down, but it could really have a negative effect upon Bitcoin. Is the Chinese, and they've had a negative effect upon Bitcoin before. When the People's Bank of China (PBOC) basically attacked Bitcoin there a few years ago. They sent the price spiraling down from like $1,150 a Bitcoin all the way down to I think it was like $140. They darn near killed it, you know. But they never really liked Bitcoin. And, if they were to nationalize the miners in China, nationalize the mines in China, that would have a very negative effect upon Bitcoin. And in fact, I think that if they really were to nationalize the miners, and if the Chinese government were to start to buy Bitcoin mining and do it themselves, I think they might be able to get over 50% of the network, or be a threat anyway. So that's one of the biggest threats, I see. But other than that, it just looks like smooth sailing for Bitcoin. It looks like all the money's going to come pouring in. It says the reported number of stolen Bitcoins drops by 92% as Bitcoin security appears to be improving. Yeah, it's going to improve. It's going to continue to improve. And the network's going to improve. The Lightning Network's already been established for Bitcoin and for Litecoin. And I can see a day when that network is just like a freeway for the cryptocurrencies to move through that network at some point in the future. It says massive exodus of Bitcoin continues to leave exchanges. Over 87,900 Bitcoins were withdrawn in 30 days. Man, you better get your Bitcoins off the exchange, guys, if you got anything on the exchange. These exchanges could run dry, and do you really trust? Until you have the private keys, until it's on your wallet with the private keys, that Bitcoin could be anything that's on the exchange. It just says a number. It's like the money in your bank account's exactly the same way. You go into the bank and they say, well, you got $1 million or whatever in your bank account. That money doesn't really exist. It's just numbers on a screen. If you say, go into the vault and get me that money, they say, well, sorry, sir, we can't. We don't have that, we've got to the point where the banks don't carry very much cash on hand. And, seriously, if you were to get a guy and maybe he's only got $2 or $3 million, but if he were to go into the banks and say he wants it all in cash, he could just about drain the cash supply for a whole state. And then how would people withdraw money, at that point? I mean, they just hope nobody will ever do something like that. But it says economist David Rosenstein pleads ignorance on Bitcoin after predicting a massive bubble. It's not in a bubble. Bitcoin's not in a bubble. In fact, right now it's underpriced considering what's going on. You have to take things into consideration. It's like I used to play golf, and one guy said to me, he said, you have to know when 79 is a bad score and when 95 is a great score. He said, if you go out there on a windy day and it's cold and wet and rainy and everything else, and you shoot like in the 90s, it might be a great score considering the course conditions. Whereas another day you might go out and shoot 79 and it's not really a good score because everything might be in your favor. You know, it's all according to the situation that's going on. And when you got in the world a situation where the fiat monetary system is dying and all the value is being transferred out into gold, silver, and bitcoins and cryptocurrency in general, well, then that kind of a situation, no, we're not in a bubble. Skybridge Bitcoin Fund debuts with a $310 million investment manager expects each Bitcoin to be worth $535,000. See, they're setting these numbers on them. It wouldn't surprise me if it gets to that this year. The rate is going up, you know? This Bitcoin mania is coming. I can see where an awful lot of this money is starting to go into the stock market and stuff. Might start to go over to cryptocurrencies because bigger gain. People are just full of greed right now. Total greed, and this is why they're going into the stock market. Top U.S. bank regulator. Banks are authorized to use public blockchains and stablecoins for payment activities. Wow, is this thing ever progressing fast? Canada launches submerged liquid-cooled Bitcoin miner. Noiseless device boasts 50 terahash. 50 terahashes. Man, I used to think 1 terahash was massive. 50 terahashes. I guess they drop it into a tank. Submerged liquid-cooled Bitcoin miner. Noiseless. Yeah, it would be noiseless. It's underneath the water, but the water would get warm. It's a great thing. Mining is a great thing in the wintertime. If you live in a northern climate, you can actually heat your house with miners if you got enough of them. But even devices like this, it would heat a tank of water. And then the water would heat your house. 82 million worth of net NFT-based artwork sold in the last month of 2020 as Ethereum prices rally. I don't really think that Ethereum is going to make the biggest gains like some of these other cryptos. I can't pronounce his name. Buterin Valakin or something like that. I'm sorry, probably messed it all up. The guy, the founder of the Ethereum, he even stated that they need some sort of a cap on the coin amounts, that they generate. And like Bitcoin's got a hard cap, 21 million. That's it. That's what investors love. If it's willy-nilly and they're going to make however many they want, well, it starts to sound like fiat, because that's what they do with fiat. Make as many as they want. So when it comes to Bitcoin and these other coins, investors take a close look at that. In Ethereum, I don't think it has a hard cap yet, does it? On the amount of coins. I think that they've been talking about doing it, making a hard cap on Ethereum. And of course, if they did that, then it would change everything as far as investing demand on it. But Ethereum is a use case coin. It's got so many uses, for the blockchain of things or the Internet of Things, and it's such a useful coin. And I think that's why it's got such a position so high on the coin market cap. Onboard institutional crypto investors, Coinbase helps execute one of the largest digital asset trades in history. 9 trillion versus 100 trillion billionaire Mike Novogratz asks which cryptocurrency will win the payments race. Yeah, that's a good question. Which one will win the payments race? Bitcoin, I think, is going to win the race of store of value, hands down. But the payments race is a different story, and these cryptocurrencies need to vie for the payments race, Are they fast? How many transactions per second are they capable of? This is very important when we're talking about the payments race. So this is a different story altogether than where Bitcoin's going. Bitcoin will never win the payments race. It's only 7 transactions a second. But they got other coins that can do that. That can tens of thousands of transactions per second, and they're going to be more used for payment or more utility use rather than Bitcoin, which is going to be like gold, which is a store of value. I mean, how many people do you see walking into the supermarket with a gold coin and saying, okay, I want to buy this or buy that? Well, it's the same thing with Bitcoin. They're not going to spend it. Or they're going to use some other coin. What they'll do is they'll transfer out their Bitcoins into some other wallet, you know, and then they'll transfer them for this other coin that's used as a payment. So, but it's going to be big. Whatever coin wins the payment race, it's going to be big, you know. It's going to be a big, powerful coin. It'll probably go up in value very much so. Thank you guys for listening to my show. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you guys in the very next episode. Bye-bye.